in education, especially in the content area of math and science in California since mid-1990s. I was participating in the writing of the late 1990s California standards. I have been a member of the test review panel of the California test for the last 15 years. And I have been a senior advisor at the U.S. Department of Education for a couple of years. I am a visiting scholar at the Hoover Institution. And I have been a member of the California Academic Content Standard Commission that evaluated Common Core for adoption for California in 2010. Maybe I should start not by, maybe I should be driven by a question that was asked before. Why wasn't there a big discussion about Common Core before? Why do we start so late in the game to argue about these things? The fact is, we tried to hold this discussion early on, to discuss the merits, the academic merits of the standard. However, there were only a handful of us. Pioneer Institute was one of them that published many of those researchers. You heard Sam Rostowski, you heard about Jim Mildron, now you hear me, we published. However, when we tried to engage in a debate, the Common Core side refused to talk. They thought the game has been won. Why should they engage? Education Next, probably the leading magazine of education, highly respectable, wanted to hold a forum in late 2010 about the merits of the common academic merits of the Common Core standards. I was supposed to represent the side opposing Common Core. They were looking for a side that will represent Common Core. After 2 months of trying to reach out and get anybody, the editor, Rick Hess, the editor of Education Next, said, I've never seen this kind of thing before. Always when we reach out, we get the first person, sometimes we get the second person. Here for 2 months, we're trying to get somebody. Nobody wants to join the conversation. They won't. Why should they argue? That's what they thought. That was the no discussion. Eventually, somebody stepped forward, volunteering, not Common Core. The guy who evaluated Common Core for Fordham, he's not part of the Common Core, he just evaluated it, but at least he represented the side that knew the content and could discuss it. And he kind of agreed. It's a mediocre set of standards. However, he felt it's better than many states, therefore it's a good idea. I felt it's a mediocre set of standards, it's much worse than some other states, and certainly internationally, therefore it's not a good idea. And that's after discussions. But nobody of the Common Core side stepped out that was willing to discuss. Until the clouds opened and the rain started to fall, and now suddenly they're willing to discuss. 4 days later. Anyway, that is not really the topic of my discussion. I studied the mathematics of Common Core for many years. I published on it. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about this issue of early algebra that has been mentioned here before. What is it and why is it so important? After all, so what really does it matter if you take algebra in grade 8 or grade 9? What's the big deal? High school is 4 years. They have to finish by algebra 2. Well, algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry, that's 3 years. We have 1 extra year. What's the big deal? Why do they have to do it in grade 8? Well, when Common Core was a glimmer in some people's eye in 2008, there was a report called Benchmarking for Success, published by the Chief National Governors Association and Council of Chief State School Officers. And they called for Common Core. That was a clarion call. We want to have Common Core. As they said, first action, upgrade state standard by adopting a Common Core of internationally benchmarked standards in math and language arts for K-12. And then they go on and say, the same document, research has revealed striking similarities among the math and science standards in top-performing nations, along with stark differences between those world-class expectations and the standards adopted by most US states. By the 8th grade, students in top performing nations are studying algebra and geometry, while in the US, most 8th grade math courses focus on arithmetic. This is their words, this is their promise. We want common standard, and that's what other people are doing. We want to be like them. So what did they deliver? About, how much it is, 8.5 later? Middle of 2010. They placed Algebra 1 in high school. Guess what? They didn't change anything. In fact, they went backward because many states did try to push algebra further forward. And they basically reverted to what had been before. Over the last 15, 20 years, America almost doubled the number of early algebra takers. They say, let's go back. And we see it in California. California had the biggest number of people taking early algebra. 2/3 of the cohort. Now, some people will say, many of those students were not ready. I would say most of them were ready. Few of them were not ready and were pushed too fast. But we didn't force everybody to take algebra in grade 8 in California. We say we expect everybody to take algebra in grade 8 in California when they are ready. And that's why it took 15 years to get to this 2/3. We didn't say, oh, after 3rd year, everybody takes it. We say, we go there, we give you bonus points if you get there, but take your time. If you're not ready, take it easier. But other countries could do it, did do it, and we can do it too. And indeed, in 15 years, we go to 2/3, and the fraction of successful takers from this 2/3 is much higher now than it was when we started, when we had 20% taking algebra and 25%. So, while we increased the pool from 16% in 1999 to 67% in 2013, quadrupled it. The fraction of successful takers of those kept rising, not growing. Normally, to quadruple the cohort, the number of takers, the scores drop, not in California. But I still didn't answer my own question. So what's such a big deal? Who cares? You have 4 years of high school. Well, I tell you who cares. The student that can take demanding mathematics in high school can. And what we saw is that the result of this early successful algebra taking, the number of people taking geometry and algebra 2 skyrocketed, quadrupled and tripled, and the same with BC calculus and AB calculus. All these numbers skyrocketed. And more importantly, it's the disadvantaged student that benefited the most, because the whole cohort moved forward. But if you disaggregate the data, the rate of growth of Latino student population, of low SES population, of the black population is typically double, twice as fast as the advanced students. And if you take a moment and think about it, it's almost obvious. There were always students taking algebra in grade 8. 16% that I mentioned in 1999. They were there, but those were mostly affluent students. And got support at home, got support through external tutoring, got help. They were pushed and helped. So they were there, always. So many of more grew up. But students that did get the support were almost unrepresented in those 16%. They suddenly showed up in big numbers. Did we close it up? No. But we are very far on the way to close it. We have been very far until the common core. I have a chart in my presentation. I have to give you many charts, but I was told don't overdo it. So I just gave you one chart. It shows the admission rate to the California State University system and the remediation rate in mathematics since 1997. Which is really the standard we adopted in late 1997. The enrollment, freshman enrollment, almost doubled in terms of fraction of the 11th grade cohort. Why? The remediation rate dropped from over 50% to less than 30%. symptom that we saw before. It's not only the number of takers grows. It's not only that they are, but they're more successful as the pool grows. And this is incredible achievement. You don't hear about this, but this is the proof of the pudding. This is when they hit good selective college system, they can do it. And that's the importance of early algebra taking, because it allows you to take more than just algebra 2 in high school, because algebra 2 is marginal for college readiness. Jim Cleaver mentioned it yesterday. It is barely marginal. I can talk about it with questions. Why do I know that? So, having 4 years to focus on advanced mathematics, kids are focusing, they're taking it, they can repeat it if they want, if they didn't succeed well enough in algebra 2 or in analysis or in pre-calculus, they can take it again. And you know what? If they are good after 3 years, so they will not take the 4 years of mathematics. There is a mantra, oh, you have to take 4 years of mathematics, because otherwise what? If you're doing good, you know what? Take the senior easy. If you have already calculus by 11th grade, what's wrong with that? Anyway, so that's the problem. The problem is that high expectations help mostly the disadvantaged. But you cannot just expect. I mean, I can expect you to reach the Everest. I will not reach it for sure myself. You have to prepare those kids. And the preparation happens in K7. And Common Core is very inadequate to prepare kids for algebra in K8.